Gestational diabetes is a big issue for expecting mothers. There are many factors that play into the development of gestational diabetes that other studies have looked into significantly. Some of these factors include age, obesity status, race or ethnicity, smoking, and family history. However, the study titled Association of Fast Food and Supermarket Density with Neonatal Outcomes of Pregnancies Affected by Gestational Diabetes is testing the impact of the food environment and the impact that it plays in perinatal outcomes of gestational diabetes. There were many factors that could have excluded women from participating in the study. However, one of the most important to consider is the fact that women who had type 1 or type 2 diabetes prior to pregnancy were excluded completely. And this is to make sure that the outcomes tested were only associated with gestational diabetes and not any other type. Data was taken from a single hospital located in Chicago, Illinois, and included 2,372 women. They used various types of information to mark these women eligible for the study. Factors that were considered included age, self-reported race or ethnicity, insurance type at the time of delivery, primary language spoken, body mass index at delivery, and if their gestational diabetes was diet controlled or medication requiring. Food environmental factors the study tested included the fast food restaurant density and the supermarket density in various zip codes of Illinois. The food environment of these women was calculated by the number of fast food restaurants and supermarkets per 100,000 residents. These factors were then used to group the participants into quartiles. Figure 1 shows the diversity of the food environment in Illinois. If you look at the figure on the left, you can see that the highest fast food density is observed in quartile 4, which is in red. Fast food density increases from quartile 1 to 4. On the right, the lowest supermarket density is observed in quartile 1, which is red as well. Supermarket density increased from quartile 1 to 4 as well. These two areas are very important to acknowledge, as higher availability of fast food and lower supermarket density is associated with poor food environment. This study focused on 4 potential negative neonatal outcomes. Specifically, in the illustration, we can observe shoulder dystocia. Shoulder dystocia can lead to many issues during childbirth. As you can see in the picture, the child is stuck between the pelvic bones of the mother, and this can cause many issues like umbilical cord entrapment, leading to suffocation and even brain damage. The other 3 negative neonatal outcomes tested in the study include neonate large for gestational age, or LGA. This is defined when the birth weight of the baby is greater than the 90th percentile based on the current CDC growth chart. Next is neonate hypoglycemia. Neonate hypoglycemia is present when the glucose of the baby is less than 40 milligrams per deciliter. Finally, the study is acknowledging when a baby is admitted into the NICU for greater than 3 days as a negative neonate outcome. The results of the data analysis regarding fast food density showed that women who were included in the highest fast food density quartiles were less likely to have public insurance, more likely to be non-Hispanic, white, married, speak English as their primary language, and nulliparous. They also had statistically significantly lower BMIs. There were no significant trends noted when fast food density increased when considering neonatal hypoglycemia or NICU admission. However, as fast food density increased, there was a statistically significant trend towards fewer LGA births and fewer births complicated by shoulder dystocia. After the data analysis of supermarket density, there was no significant finding related to supermarket density. However, the women living in the lowest supermarket density areas were less likely to have public insurance and more likely to be non-Hispanic, white, married, and speak English as their primary language. Regarding the fast food density to supermarket density ratio, the data gathered from the participants showed that there was an average of 3.4 fast food restaurants for each supermarket, Ultimately, there was no statistically significant trend observed based on fast food density to supermarket density ratios based on our negative neonatal outcomes. In conclusion, researchers hypothesized that women in poor food environments, which was high availability of fast food and low supermarket density, would contribute to an increase in the negative neonatal outcomes compared to their counterparts. However, these associations were not identified. Actually, as fast food density increased, lower odds of LGA neonate were observed. Some factors that can contribute to this odd trend is the fact that some cities in the highest density areas are also known to be of high socioeconomic status. However, this is not the case for every zip code. Future studies could observe a more in-depth food environment that acknowledges all the possible places a woman could obtain food, regardless of her zip code.